everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I am like pining to read in 2024. There's quite a few, to be honest. I feel like I really came into my like reading habits this year. I've always been a bookworm since I was like a teenager, but this year is the most I've read ever, and as the year's gone on I feel like I've been reading more and more and more. So I'm ready, I'm eager to start my reading challenge, reading journey in 2024. Like, I'm ready, I'm here for it. I've got a nice big stack of books here to show you and to talk about. I'm going to split this into like three kind of components. We'll start with releases in the new year, and there's not many, well there's a lot, but there's only like a couple that I'm like really focused on, because this year is a year that I'm prioritizing series and things. I'm in the middle of so many, there's so many I want to start. It's a bit wild. Anyway, second category is physical TBR books I already have, and then we'll also talk about like TBR that I haven't bought yet, haven't got, you know, all that good stuff. We'll start with the smallest category, which is releases, and obviously Crescent City, guys, it's coming, it's not far. Crescent City 3 Flame and Shadow. I'm so excited, like so excited, it's actually a joke. I think I loved Earth and Blood more than I loved Sky and Breath, by like a fraction, honestly. But if you know, you know, the ending of Sky and Breath has been on my brain every day since I read that book. I read it in September. I think about it all the time. The anticipation and excitement for Flame and Shadow is unmatched. I honestly cannot wait to read that book. It's the second that comes out, I'm buying it. I didn't pre-order it, might have been a big mistake, but I'm gonna scour every bookshop nearby. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna read it. I'm not leaving the house for like however long it takes me to read it. These books are thick and I'm not leaving until I finish that book, sorry. And then there's not really many other specific books, but like Funny Story by Emily Henry. There's one coming out by Abby Jimenez that I'm quite excited to read, but I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, this year I'm just trying to prioritize authors I've only read like 1 or 2 books from, and I just want to go through their like backlog and just read all the books I've been missing out on. I've only read a few from like I say, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, Elsie Silver, like Sarah Adams. I just want to go through and read like all these books, and I'm so excited to do that. Moving on to physical TBR books, and there's quite a lot. Some of them are like series, some of them standalones, but I've got a select few here. The first one, let's say, is probably a bit of a uncommon choice or book or whatever, and that is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I set a goal or like an aim for this year to start reading like Greek mythology retellings, because I've always been so interested in like Greek mythology, but obviously it's quite daunting. Do I have the brain smarts to read like OG mythology? No, I don't. And I know these are meant to be more digestible, easier versions, but for some reason they just still intimidate me. Like, you've obviously got Circe, the Song of Achilles. Like, I haven't read any of them because I'm just so scared that it's going to go over my head and I'm just going to find it boring. But I know that that's the whole point of these, is to make them more digestible or whatever for readers that don't have the brain capacity for, like, you know, Greek gods and whatever. So yeah, this has been on my physical TBR for a while. I mean, for a start, it's a stunning book. Like, the foiling on that is unreal. And I'm hoping that once I've read this, it'll like inspire me and get me excited to like read all the Madeline Miller ones and all that kind of stuff. So definitely want to get into this at some point next year. Then we've got another one that I feel like everyone at this point has now read, but I still haven't, and that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Look, I don't really know anything about this book. I feel like nobody knows anything really about this book until they read it, because nobody really spoils it for you, and I don't think anyone can really explain it, like, other than the whole gaming element. Like, I feel like it's just one of those books where you just got to get in there, feel it out, get the vibe, get the atmosphere, meet the characters, fall in love with the characters and follow them on their life journey, whatever. So I'm buzzing to read this. I know you shouldn't say before you read a book that you know you're going to love it, because you're already setting that bar so high, but I just do. I just know I'm going to love this. Like, I actually really enjoy literary fiction, even though I don't tend to read it that much. Like, Taylor Jenkins Reid is just like such a god, and I, again, have read some of her books, but there's still plenty I still need to read. So, yeah, literary fiction is definitely something I want to continue diving into. in the new year, more of, just to break up those romances and fantasies, you know. Let me have a book that's been on my radar for so long, and then I went to Belgium early this month and there was a bookstore there and it was amazing and Christmassy, and anyway I was just so excited to see a bookstore on our travels, and I went in and I was like, I have to leave the book. I can't not leave the book, that's just rude. And I've been wanting to have this for so long because it's always compelled me. Again, another book cover that I just think is so stunning, and that is obviously, yeah, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I again don't know a lot about this other than it just gives me a good vibe, and I know that I just want to lose track of time reading this because I feel like it's gonna be one of those books that just transports you somewhere completely different, into someone else's life, world, whatever. This has got me really excited. It looks stunning. I look at it all the time like, oh, and yeah, this might be one of my January reads, I think. I just cannot wait to delve into this. And then same category but series. I've only read Flawless by Elsie Silver, so I have Heartless and Powerless that I've been dying to get into. I read Flawless in September and I don't know why I haven't picked these up sooner. I know that this is some of people's favourite from the whole series, and I'm not much of like a single parent girly, like single mum, single dad. But then having said that, I haven't really dived into it that much, but it just doesn't like appeal to me. But this gets me excited. I can't wait to read these. Obviously I still need to get Reckless and Hopeless, but I'm assuming I'm going to plow through this in the new year because I plowed through Flawless like so quickly. So I don't think it's going to take me long to get myself through the series. And then another series which I only read one book of that I definitely want to continue into the new year is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I picked both these up on Vinted. It was a frigging steal. I can't remember how much I mean, I bought the whole series on Vinted because I read the first book, The Inheritance Games, from the library. So I had to return it and I was gutted, and I was like, the second I read it, I was like, no, I just know that I'm gonna need to actually have this series. So I went straight onto Vinted and found someone selling the trilogy for like, I think it was like £7-8 or something. And I was like, sweet. And they're in such good condition as well. So yeah, cannot wait to read these again. The first one had me hooked. I read it literally within like a couple of days. May have slightly forgotten some details. I will have to go back and remind myself, but I read, like I say, I was invested. I read it so quickly. I loved it. Can't wait to continue on with the rest of the series. This is one of my Christmas presents and the excitement is real. I'm so behind on this, I know, like the series finished a couple of months ago. I feel like everyone read it, everyone's finished it, but I haven't even started it. And again, with the stunning book covers, I know, just, oh, like, look at that. Like, oh my gosh, it is just amazing. Apologies for the sunspots. I'm currently sat in front of my Christmas tree and all the gaps are just illuminating my face, but you know, makes me look kind of angelic though. But yeah, this, I have no words for this. It's stunning. I can't wait to read it. I read Caraval, so I kind of know the vibes and the writing of Stephanie Garber. Loved Caraval. I am going to reread Caraval and finish this series before this, which I know isn't necessary, but it scratches an itch in my brain to read things in the right order, even if it's not necessary, if that makes sense. Because like I say, you don't have to read the Caraval series to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but because that is just like the order, technically speaking, release wise, whatever, I have to. So this is just going to be sat on my shelf waiting for me until I finish that. It makes my heart happy. But yeah, this is 100% on my TBR for the new year. Cannot wait. And then a reread actually that I would like to do in the new year. There's a couple. I'd love to reread the Akatar series. Again, I read that this year. Or not even kickstarted my love, because I've always loved fantasy, but just like reignited the spark in my heart. And Akamath is my favourite book of all time. I've never felt that way about a book in my life. It was just perfect in every way possible. Nothing has matched that yet. I could talk about that forever. I'm not going to. Anyway, but the other read I want to do is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And I have read this so many times, maybe like 3 times. But the last time was a while ago. This was one of my like teenage favourites, you know what I mean? And I'm 25 this year. It's been a while. I don't think I've read this in my 20s. And I can't wait to go back into the world. I remember the vibes. I remember a little bit about the plot, but oh my God, that is like the most stunning lighting ever. Sorry, anyway. It's just the most magical atmosphere. and I just can't wait to go through this and annotate it, because I know that, you know, this was my favourite 5-star read growing up, so I know there's going to be a lot in here that I'm actually probably going to want to annotate, and it's got a special place in my heart. Okay, this is a very old loved book, but yeah. And then for the other end of my TBR, books I don't actually possess yet but will probably be buying in the new year, Throne of Glass. Oh my goodness. Like I say, I've read ACOTAR, I've read Crescent City, I'll be reading the third one in, next month. Throne of Glass is the only series from Sarah J Maas I haven't read, and I feel like it's blown up a lot more in the last like 6 months than ever before. I feel like everyone going into ACOTAR and things knew of Throne of Glass, like knew that she'd written it, but it was just like one of those, oh, maybe I'll read that one day, or, you know, whatever, it's just nice to know. But I feel like since like summer, it's just, you just see it so much more, and I've decided it is time to read Throne of Glass, and then my whole Sarah J Maas universe will be complete for now. And I'm so excited because I hear such good things about Throne of Glass. I would also love to start the Entangled with Fae series, which is like a fairy tale retelling fantasy series of like Fae and all that good stuff. I've heard Sarah Crowley talking about it, and I don't know, it just sounds right up my street. I freaking love fairy tales, like I'm a Disney girly. It just sounds really interesting to me. So I definitely want to give that a go, see what happens. I think there's like a Cinderella one, Beauty and the Beast, maybe Little Mermaid. So definitely going to give those a go in the new year. Don't know if I'm going to get the physical books because I haven't actually seen them anywhere in the UK, so I'll have to have a little look. It might be a Kindle jobby or a library jobby. If my library has them, I'll have to have a look. But yeah, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I need to read that. I just know that I do. I see it everywhere. I'm not going to say much else other than, you know, your book bestie favourites have all read it, have all loved it. Rachel, Sarah, Destiny, all obsessed. And I know that I need to also be obsessed, so it's in the works. It's probably like a £5. I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna devour it, so that's another one. Honestly, I'm going through my list and I could literally go on forever, but one that has just caught my eye and I think I'm gonna leave it at that is the Knocking Out series by Lucy Score. I've heard so much about them. Obviously, again, another one that's finished this year. The series is over, but I haven't read anything by Lucy Score before, and I know they're quite thick, chunky romances, but look, BookTok or Bookstagram, they're big influencers, okay? I'm sold. I need to buy them. Again, you can get them in the works for a really reasonable price, and I just think that I need to delve myself into that universe. So that's another series I've got my eye on. Also, anything Emily Henry, I've read Book Lovers and You and Me on Vacation. So Happy Place and Beach Read, which I hear are the best ones as well. Like, how have I not read them yet? So I'm definitely reading them in the new year. I'm going to throw a classic in there. I went for a phase, not this year gone, but I think last year. I set myself a kind of goal to read a lot more classics. Because I feel like I didn't read that much in school with like my exams and English classes and things. We did Animal Farm, we did Of Mice and Men, Lord of the Flies, but I don't know, like some of the proper classics I just feel like I never read in school, and I just decided I wanted to educate myself. I feel like I hear so many references from time to time about these books, and I just, yeah, I don't know, I wanted to kind of immerse myself in a different time, get an idea of what, you know, literature and everything was like back then. So I read a bit of Jane Austen, I read How to Kill a Mockingbird. No, it's just To Kill a Mockingbird. I always add the how, it's so annoying. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Chrysalids. Like, I went through a little phase and then it kind of fizzled out and I just wasn't as interested anymore, and I didn't want to force myself because that's just not how it works for me, being a bookworm. I don't force myself to read things I don't want to read. So I kind of stopped. But one book that's played on my mind forever and that I've just always wanted to read is Little Women. I don't actually know who the author is of that, but you all know what I'm talking about. Obviously the film came out a few years ago with Emma Watson in it, and it looked so, and I wanted to watch it, like it looked so good, but I never did, and I'm glad that I didn't because I really want to read the book first, but I'm also dying to watch the film. So I think next year I'm 100% going to get myself, I might even borrow a copy of Little Women from the library, see how I feel. If I fall in love with it, I might find myself a really nice edition maybe to have on my shelves. But yeah, it's just a book that I've always been so interested in, a story that I've always been so interested in. So I definitely want to be reading that. in the new year. And then the last one, because I feel like I am literally going to be here all day if I was to go through my entire like Goodreads TBR. I'm just trying to talk about the ones that I'm the most excited about. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. It just sounds like the coziest book ever, and I'm here for it. Like, that is winter vibes as well. Just get cozied up and follow her, just documenting fairies. I read my first cozy fantasy this year, which was Legends and Lattes. A bit of a different vibe to Emily Wilde, but still, like I say, just the coziest, most heartwarming story. It was so easy to read, so low stakes. Like, obviously these aren't the kind of books for you if you're someone that's like high stakes battles and war and politics. Sometimes I just want to be in a magical, whimsical world that we don't, you know, that we've never experienced on Earth. I just want to chill there. I don't want to fight wars. And that's exactly what Legends and Lattes did for me. It was just, like I say, the coziest thing ever. There was nothing to really get hyped up about. It was just the easy reading, an orc running a freaking coffee shop. Like, oh god, the vibes are immaculate. I do want to read Bone Dust and what's it called? Bookshops and Bone Dust. That's what it's called. Really want to read that. So yeah, that's a very condensed rundown of the books that I've got really high up on my list for the new year. I had a great reading year this year. I read 53 books this year, which is the most I've ever read in a year. I've had some, like I say, all-time favourite reads, Akamath, and then closely probably followed by Magnolia Parks and the Scythe series and Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I adored that book. But yes, I've had a great reading year and I've got so much high hopes for the new year. I've got so many, I've got a few more in here. So many books that I am eager to start. Kind of on a book buying ban, kind of not on a book buying ban. I've got so many that I can read here, sure, but I'm definitely pining to add to my collection. Probably will be going out book shopping very soon. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, all that good stuff. Love having book discussions with people. It is the best feeling being a part of a book community. So I hope that you've had a great year. I hope you've had a great reading year. I hope that you're excited about your reading year 2024, baby. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.